You are so close to being done with your essay. All you have left is the conclusion, but I will warn you, do not fizzle out with the conclusion, even though you want to be done with this paper. So why are conclusions so hard? Usually because, like I just said, you're maxed out. You're done with this essay. You feel like you've been working on it forever, and you just want to be done. You don't really know what else to say, so therefore you feel like a conclusion is super repetitive, and you've already said everything, so why do I need to keep belaboring the point? However, I encourage you to change your thoughts about conclusions in that seeing them as, one sentence, done with this puppy. Because conclusions are super important. Why? It's the last impression you give your reader, and it's the last thing that he or she will remember. So if your conclusion is weak, but your essay, the rest of it, is really strong, a lot of times your reader will think that your entire essay was weak because your conclusion was weak. That was the last thing they read, therefore the last thing that he or she remembers, and so they kind of just chalk it up to your whole essay was weak. It's your last chance as well to really sell it. So if it's an argumentative essay, it's your last chance to seal your argument or pitch it. If it's just expository or informative, you want to make sure that you leave your reader satisfied, like you've come full circle, this is the end, and they feel happy and satisfied with what you just wrote about. So I think it's important to actually start with conclusion don'ts, because these are repetitive mistakes, common errors, and we need to eliminate them. So the first one is, don't simply say something like, and these are the reasons why Fitzgerald thinks that happiness isn't possible. As a reader, I kind of react by saying, well, no crap, those are the reasons why. You spent your entire essay telling me these reasons. So it's kind of just pointing out the obvious, and it adds absolutely nothing, no meaning, nothing to your essay. So don't say that. Secondly, don't write the phrase in conclusion. I think a lot of us rely on that because we don't really know how else to end it. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But that phrase in conclusion, it's almost like a crutch, and it gets repetitive, obvious, and it's not very sophisticated. So just take that out of your vocabulary. One other thing that we see a lot is that kids copy and paste their claims. Yes, we do tell you to return to your claim, but that doesn't mean you should plagiarize yourself and copy and paste it. Use your brain and think of a different way to reword it. And then lastly, don't end your conclusion without a sense of closure. So don't end on a cliffhanger or with your reader asking questions. You don't want them to walk away with confusion or questions. So here are the do's. The first one is do return to your hook. This brings your essay full circle and gives it a sense of closure. So if you had a hook that maybe told a story or created an image, return to that, because that signals to the reader that you are coming full circle and therefore you're coming to the end. So rely on returning to your hook rather than using a phrase like in conclusion. Do restate your claim and thesis, which I just mentioned. You can do this in a new way by simply restating it, using synonyms, just tinker around with the sentence structure and the organization. Should be fairly easy. Do briefly recap the main ideas of your body paragraphs, so kind of revisit what you discussed. You don't have to get into too much detail, just the main recap, the main points. And then do leave the reader satisfied with a final thought. So like I said, you don't want to have them walk away with questions. So leave them feeling like this was a solid essay, solid thoughts, and this person knows their stuff. They know what they're talking about. All right, so go out there, write your conclusion, and don't fizzle out.